Also played the game that was made for the Wii and the PC, I believe, because I got into mood reading and then read different stuff. Now I know why I haven't read it in so long, because it fucking hurts. Hello lovely bookworms, I'm Esmay from Paradise of Pages on Instagram and also on Twitter, and welcome to a new video. As you can see, the background is a little bit different. I finally got a new Billy. This was a present from my parents for my birthday, and I'm so excited that I finally have room to display everything nicely. That said, this video is not going to be about the bookshelves. If you would like to see a bookshelf tour, let me know. I do have to say I'm kind of hesitant to film one because it's a lot of work to edit and to do, but if you really want to see one, I'll do one. I promise I will. That said, today's video is not going to be that. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I finished in January. Okay, so I want to start off by saying that January is a pretty good reading month. I'm very happy with everything I read. I did not read everything on my TBR, but I did read more because I got into mood reading and then read different stuff. But we'll get to that eventually. So the first book I'm going to start with is one I think I mentioned in my last wrap-up / TBR. But the reason I am including it is because it is the first book I finished this year, and that is Into the Cricket Place by Agatha Christie. I believe I mentioned this in the last video, so I'm not going to say too much about it. I am going to say that I wasn't the biggest fan of this book. I liked it, still gave it 3 stars, but it was very repetitive for me, and it was also very, very much inspired by Six of Crows, and I would have liked a very original story, which I believe this one wasn't really. So next up is a book that I don't actually have here, but I do have it. It's back in my home place, and that is Yesterday I Was the Moon. This is a selection of poetry, and selection is a good word because I had a couple of issues with this book. I'll go into a little bit more depth here because I'm not going to do a review on it. I can tell you that I didn't like it, so be prepared. Firstly, what I really didn't like is that this book is about 150 pages, and almost every other page there's an illustration. I really don't like that. You buy a book for the content, not for pictures. Otherwise, I would have read a picture book. That said, moving on to the poetry itself, I really didn't like that the grammar wasn't correct. There was no punctuation, the I was not capitalized, and as an English major myself, I really can't stand that. And then the content of the poems itself was also not for me. I really didn't like it. It was vague, it was weird, there was no real structure to it, and sadly, this is my first 1-star rating of the year. Okay, so this is kind of where my dip into my mood reading comes in, because I read multiple detectives this month. I'm just gonna start with the first one, and the first one is The Big Four by Agatha Christie. I watched an episode of Agatha Christie's Poirot, and got really obsessed with it and wanted to read some books of it. So I started with The Big Four, really, really enjoyed it. It was such a good book. I did want a little bit more oomph at the end, like a big reveal. It did have a lot of reveals throughout the book, and I really, really liked that, so I gave that book 4 out of 5 stars. Next up was another Agatha Christie book, and also a Hercule Poirot book, and that was Evil Under the Sun, also by Agatha Christie, obviously. And that one I actually picked up again. I already read it. I also played the game that was made for the Wii and the PC, I believe. Maybe there's other platforms, I'm not sure. But I'm sure that you can play it on either the Wii or the PC. And I absolutely loved it. It was even better than the first time around. I just love the story so much. It's so ingenious and it's so amazing. So I also gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. Then I sort of scoured the Goodreads platforms with things I hadn't read yet, and then my eye fell on a novella, which is from the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, and that is Night of Cake and Puppets. This one tells the story of Susanna and Mick, and it was so incredibly cute. It was just what I needed at the moment I was reading it. It was so, so amazing. I love the little bits of magic that were in there, and I just generally think that it's a very good addition to the series, because the series really tells Caru's story, and I loved getting a little bit more, background to both Susanna and Mick, and in general, I think it was just such a cute book, short read, and absolutely amazing. So I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars as well. Okay, I am gonna move on to a challenged book by Femke in December. This has been on my TBR for so long, and now I know why I haven't read it in so long, because it fucking hurts. Excuse my language, but it fucking hurts. Oh my god. This book, you can legit hit me in the face with this book, and I would welcome it over the story's painfulness. Seriously. But moving on, that book is The Kingdom of Copper by S.H. Chakraborty. Can you see it? It's finished! I told you I was reading it, didn't I? I actually told you that multiple times, but still. In my last TBR, I told you guys that I was reading it, and I finished it. I'm so proud of it, and it was absolutely brilliant. It hurt me into the fucking core of my being, but definitely my favorite. One of my absolute favorite books ever. Obviously gave it 5 stars. I cannot wait for the Empire of Gold. I need it, well, now, but I have to wait until June. This one, absolutely amazing. I loved The City of Brass in itself, but this one is just as good. If you need to pick up an underrated series, go for The City of Brass. It's absolutely amazing. I would recommend waiting until June, though, because then you can just read everything in one go and know how it ends, because the cliffhangers are horrible. But anyway, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. 5 stars, probably already mentioned that, but it's great. Absolutely amazing. Okay, then moving on to the next book in my mood reading month, and another Hercule Poirot book. Are we even surprised? And that one is Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie as well. I only read Agatha Christie books this month, or at least when it comes to mystery. And this one was just as good as the other ones. I really love the Egyptian flair it had. I would have liked a little bit more of that, especially in the beginning, but it was such a good book. I really enjoyed reading it. I love Poirot. He's such an interesting character. And again, it was so mysterious. It was filled with all kinds of nice stuff, and I absolutely enjoyed it. So I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. Hey everybody, editing Esmay here, and as I'm editing this video, I realized that I finished 2 more books this month, so I wanted to include those. They're also Agatha Christie books, and the first one I read was Murder in Mesopotamia. It was really enjoyable, loved it. I really love the foreign sense in these books, in some of them. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. And then the second one I read was And Then There Were None. This is also an Agatha Christie book, but not a Hercule Poirot book. So this one is a little bit different, but I think it was absolutely brilliant. I loved the story, and I loved figuring it out, or at least trying to figure it out. So that one was also 4 out of 5 stars. So great reading month, at least I think. And let's get back to the normal video. So those were all of the books that I read this month. I'm very excited with how much reading I got done. Yes, there were shorter and bigger books in here, but still, I'm very happy that I read 2 of my most anticipated reads of last year, and one of them being massive and taking me quite a bit of time. But I loved all of them, and, well, not all of them. I loved most of the books I read. And it was a really good reading month overall. I'm just very happy that I'm finally into the reading spirit again. I mean, the new bookshelf is helping, I have to say. That said, I also acquired a lot of new books, so I'm going to be doing a book haul very soon. So stay tuned for that. That said, that is everything for this video. How was your reading month? Have you read nice books? Let me know. I always want more recommendations because I don't have enough time, but I do want to read more books. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and press that little bell icon so you get post notifications every single time that we post. Give us a thumbs up, and I will see you guys the next time. Bye!